What's up, YouTube? What's up, Jet Nation? Sean back with another episode on the Jets Show. Happy to be back with you guys. I haven't been around for a week. Had some stuff going on. Was sick as well, so I didn't really have the time to put together some content for the show. So I really do apologize about that, guys. But I am back, and there are definitely some things I wanted to talk about. So obviously, OTAs, mandatory OTAs, have kind of wrapped up at this point. So, wanted to kind of just talk about, the off-season program, some of the players that stood out, and some of the things I might be concerned with before we get into training camp. So, I believe it's 81 days until the season starts. So, that's super exciting, and I can't wait. I can't wait. That's the one good thing to look forward to as summer wraps up, because I do love summer. I do love the nice weather and being outside and doing a lot of things, but what makes up for that is NFL football and the Jets. So let's get into it. So let's start off with one of the things that concerns me, and it's not a huge thing as of right now, but that would be the tackle situation with Micah Becton. And I think I'll talk about it a little bit more on another episode specifically. I think that's something that needs to be talked about a little more in detail. But in general, I wasn't thrilled that he skipped the voluntary workouts. He looks out of shape and overweight. When I saw his interview, when he was talking to the media, his media availability and stuff like that. So that is a slight concern to me. The other part of it that's a concern to me is George Fant was not involved in all the practices because he's coming off-season surgery. So the tackle position, although I think it has a tremendous upside to be one of the best pairs of tackles in the NFL, I am a little concerned about the depth and the injury history between these two guys, and the fact that we don't have a veteran backup swing tackle that can step in. God forbid one of these guys, gets injured or is out for any kind of serious amount of time. And this offense is predicated on protecting Zach Wilson. It's one of the big things that Joe D has put emphasis on in the past two off seasons, is solidifying that offensive line and protecting their potential franchise quarterback. And if he doesn't have good protection, we could have all the weapons in the world. It doesn't matter. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number two, I don't feel super confident still in the depth of this linebacker core. The two youngsters that were injured last year, Nasruddin and Sherwood, you see some flashes here and there, but they also make some mistakes, and they weren't super impressive in training camp. I know the Jets are super high on Quincy Williams and pairing him with C.J. Mosley, but there's not much depth there. So I'm still waiting for them to sign somebody else that can kind of give them some veteran depth at that linebacker spot. And I think it's the biggest need on this team outside of tackle, swing tackle. So, I've kind of definitely changed my tune when it comes to what else needs to be done on this roster to put them in a position to succeed in 2022. And I think those two positions are definitely going to be tackle and linebacker. I think we need more depth at both positions because both were, riddled by injury last year. So, we need some depth there if we're going to have a really good season this year and compete in games down the stretch in December. So, and that's what we're all looking for. So, now let's move on to some of the good things. There were a lot of good things coming out of this training camp. Number one, and can't be understated, Zach Wilson has looked very, very good. He has his moments. He's only year two quarterback, going into his second season. So he made some mistakes, but overall, I mean, this guy is the one day they were lighting it up on the defense. I think it was day two of mandatory OTAs. I think he was lighting it up. I saw some highlights from from the media and stuff of him throwing some bombs to Elijah Moore and stuff like that. It's super exciting. He looks like he's, from everything I heard from the beat reporters, it looks like he's really making progress. You could see he's confident. He understands the offense, the progressions, and everything like that. And that's all you could really want to see from, a second-year quarterback, a guy going into a second year, second training camp. It's great that he's in the same system with the same coaches, a lot of the same players. I mean, obviously we made some moves, but there are a lot of familiarity there with some of his wide receivers and some of the other players on the roster. So, it's really encouraging, and it makes me really hopeful for this team going into the season. The other thing is wide receiver position. We had another Denzel Mims sighting, making some big plays in practice. People don't realize this guy's been injured or sick or had problems in the offseason every year. This is his first healthy offseason. So, and he also knows the offense from last year. Going into his second offseason, not only was he sick, but he had to learn a new offense at the same time. So, that's pretty exciting. As most people say, Elijah Moore looks amazing. Garrett Wilson's route running and everything like that is phenomenal. He made a circus catch in practice. I wish I could have seen it, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of that footage. So we just gotta, we gotta take what these beat reporters say, for what it is. And obviously sometimes they're looking for stories, so they might exaggerate certain things. But from what I've heard, Garrett Wilson's making some plays in practice. That's phenomenal, super exciting. The defense seemed to be getting the better of the offense most of the practices, except for, I believe it was day 2 when Zach just lit everybody up and kind of took over. And I know then they changed the defensive scheme and went to more man-to-man, and it kind of threw Zach off, and then the defense kind of, made some moves and kind of, stood their ground a little bit. So that's super exciting to see the offense have its day, and it's great to see the two units go back and forth. From everything I heard, Sauce looks absolutely phenomenal. He looks exactly like the guy that we hoped he was going to be. And obviously, it's just OTAs, but again, great sign. Jason Pinnock looks like he's going to be starting at safety. He's been getting a lot of first-team safety reps. He's looked really good, so that's exciting. Even Ashton Davis has looked really good at safety, and I do think, he's still a young guy, and he could really find a role as a third safety or something like that on this roster. Saleh likes versatile guys. I think Ashton Davis is a guy that fits that kind of mold, can play in the slot a little bit, so I do think, he's a player that could, contribute to this team. The rest of the defense, obviously the guys up front, we're not going to see much. They're not in pads. They're not doing a lot of crazy stuff. But, it's good to see a lot of these guys healthy. I don't think we had really any injuries, anything. Well, I'm sure we had some minor little nicks or whatever, but nothing that's really worrisome about anybody. So that's super exciting. I watched the Jets official YouTube channel video, and I saw the whole video with Michael Carter being mic'd up. That was pretty cool. Seeing him interacting with some of the other players and stuff like that. Just fun to get inside the team and see what's going on. So overall, I would say everything coming out of OTA seems pretty positive. Like I said, the tackle situation is the only thing that's kind of a little bit of a question mark, but when you compare this offseason and this OTAs and coming out, before we head into training camp, to last year or the year before, or really, any time over the past 10 years, they're not coming out with tons and tons of question marks. So, I'm really positive about this football team and where we're headed this year. Super excited to see what happens when we hit training camp, preseason, and into week 1. So if you guys like this show and the content, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We're in the upper 70s right now. I think we're going to get there soon in the next next week or two. So, like I said, put your comments in the comments box below. I'd love to interact with you guys, and I'm waiting to hear from you. So, with that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.